Welcome to the whole program. This video will be on headline anxiety and learning how to consume media intentionally. This year has brought many new challenges to our lives. Along with these challenges, we have received a flood of news coming out 24/7 on a plethora of topics. It may seem as though most of this news we have received is overwhelmingly conflicted with our values, desires, and is overall anxiety-provoking. And this is not a new occurrence in 2020. In fact, every day for the past few years, we have seen stressful headlines published by news sources online and in newspapers, and this breaking news might be breaking us. Today, news sources publish news with sensational headlines to get more attention. However, these types of headlines focus on disaster reporting and rarely display positive or uplifting news. Consuming too much of this type of news, whether passively or actively, can be toxic and has the potential to influence your mood. When we experience a threat, our brains signal activation of the fight or flight response, and our bodies respond accordingly. This response leads to an activation of the sympathetic nervous system, causing the body to release cortisol and adrenaline, two different stress hormones. When we repeatedly seek out disaster reporting news or other catchy news sources that highlight negative news, our stress response is activated more frequently. This can lead to both physical and psychological responses, such as fatigue, anxiety, trouble sleeping, or feelings of hopelessness and worry. So, how do we know if our mental wellness is being impacted by the amount and the content of the news sources we are exposed to? Well, first, it's important to notice changes in emotions and behaviors. Changes in behavior may look like an increase in worry or irritability, feeling unsafe, or feeling hopeless and helpless. You may also experience changes in your behavior. These behavioral changes may look like isolation or withdrawal from social support. Additionally, when bombarded with negative news, people may find themselves unable to think about anything other than the events at hand. This makes it difficult to concentrate on school and work, which is extremely important to address, because as a college student, your goal is to receive an education. This semester, there seems to be an influx of news due to COVID-19, protests, police violence, and the upcoming election. With all of these additional distractors, it is important that we have the tools to digest media without becoming overwhelmed. Next, we will cover tools and coping strategies to stay informed while maintaining mental wellness. Be cognizant of your social media use. Social media can intensify the effects that you feel from news and information overload. Practice self-control when it comes to social media use. Possibly even consider deleting apps to give yourself a mental break. Limit your news consumption. With phone news apps and alerts, there is an abundance of information at your fingertips. It is important to observe your tendencies when it comes to news consumption and limit your time on news sites if you find yourself getting lost in the material. Avoid triggering topics as well. If you notice that a certain news source is triggering for you, it would be a good idea to take a break from those specific news sources. It is also helpful to manage feelings of stress and anxiety. Stress management practices such as regular exercise, eating well, getting sufficient sleep can help to combat stress. If you notice that your phone and the news you are consuming is causing anxiety, turn it off and do an unplugged activity for a short period of time. Additionally, there are a lot of resources on campus to turn to if you are feeling overwhelmed, such as the college deans, your professors, the wellness center, or the Bauhaus. And finally, set boundaries. We live in uncertain times, and uncertainty that is perpetuated by news sources can be very anxiety-producing. Talk with people you are close to and set boundaries concerning news and politics. Maybe you and your friends decide to have a day free of conversations related to the hot topics in the news. Thank you for watching this video on headline anxiety. If you're looking for more resources or more information on the topic, head to the whole program website.